I'm Jeff Kiley from the New York Press Service. I know many of you, but some of you I don't. So nice meeting you all. Howard Barbanel from Design to Pro and our 5-member panel are going to kind of give you great insight to subcontracting page design and ad design. So you wonder what's in it for me. So it's to save money. We have, well, at least 3 challenges facing all of us today. One is building audience. The second is building revenue. And then the third one is cutting expenses. And Howard and his guests are going to be focusing on number 3 today. If you could please hold your questions to the end. I will be opening the chat room shortly. So if you have a comment or you just want to put a comment in there, go right ahead and we'll get to them at the end. We are recording the webinar just in case there are some folks who weren't able to attend, maybe from your organization that you feel should have attended but couldn't. We can send that out to everyone also. Let's kind of get going here. I'm going to introduce our panel, and then we're going to kind of just have a little bit of a round robin about various things, but mainly how subcontracting page and ad design has helped them. How was the implementation? What was the transition like? What results have they had so far? And a variety of other things. So first off, like I said, I'm going to introduce the panel. First one is Rob Pozaricki. I apologize, Rob. You just told me what it was. Anyway, Rob is the Chief Content Officer of Schneps Media. They operate more than 80 newspapers, magazines, and digital outlets across New York City, Long Island, Philadelphia, and Palm Beach. He also serves as executive editor of AM New York down in New York City. Second is Dozier Hasty. He's publisher of the Eagle Union Media, which publishes 2 daily newspapers, including the Brooklyn Daily Eagle and 8 weeklies in New York City, as well as numerous websites and newsletters. Then we have Larry Gordon. Larry is the founder and publisher of the 5 Towns Jewish Times, one of the nation's largest American Jewish newspapers. They average 120 plus pages per week. They're one of the healthiest ad copy ratios in the region. He's also a prolific writer, columnist, and podcaster. And his wife's now making him sit outside, so he's very warm. So, Alan Begun spent many years running marketing and business development for People, Better Homes and Garden, Fortune, Reader's Digest, and other national magazines. About 5-6 years ago, he acquired the River Journal, which serves Tarrytown, Sleepy Hollow, Irvington, Briarcliff, and Ossining. He launched the River Journal North to serve Croton, Hudson, Cortland, and Peekskill, and Rivertown Magazine in Rockland County. His publications have 150,000 readers per month. And last but not least, Howard Sturman is a member of the board of directors of the New York Press Association. And has been in the newspaper business for 33 years. He was the former owner of the Westchester and Fairfield Business Journals and current owner of Hometown Media. So, Rob, if we could, can we start with you?
I would hope not, but okay. Depends on the question. What is it?
Well, it's not so much the question as it is if you could just speak about your experience working with Howard and how it's been.
Okay, so thanks for having me on the panel. By the way, I've been with Schneps Media for 8 years, and when we started out, it was just the Queens Courier, which is a local newspaper in Queens, borough-wide, and the Home Reporter, which we sold, and then the Times News Weekly, Ridgewood Times. And since that time, we have grown to 80 different publications in the city, Philadelphia, Florida. We've got weeklies, dailies, monthlies. We've got bi-weeklies. We have magazines. We got newspapers. We print 600,000 news issues every week for people. That's a staggering number. And in many ways, a lot of that would be very difficult to do if we didn't have the assistance of outsourcing. So we started, I think, 2 years into my term at Schneps, working with Howard at Design Pro. And we started outsourcing tasks that included everything from building ads to doing major, layout projects for the paper, doing the day-to-day pagination. Every time you do something like this, there's always going to be little hiccups and false starts to get in the way. But one thing I have found with everything, with regards to how we work, and just not only with them, but just in work in general, is communication. And to Howard's credit, his team has been very good and very communicative with us. When we feel that something is incorrect, we go and we get it, we communicate it, we get a quick response, and we get what we're looking for. And over the years, we've kind of perfected our the process of how we are able to move pages along and maximize the most work we can. And I think in many ways, if we hadn't made that step a few years ago to introduce some outsourcing to the process, we would not have been able to accommodate the rapid growth in our company. Just a few years after we started, we picked up Community Newspaper Group that really almost doubled our size overnight. And then another year comes by and we York, and then we picked up Metro New York and Philadelphia. And again, to this day, Designer Pro is still been working with us in terms of helping us meet the daily challenges, the weekly challenges, the monthly challenges we have in terms of production. So that's really where we have been in terms. It's been so far. It's been very positive, I think. It has helped us financially, but it's also helped us logistically. And it's pretty much what I gotta say.
Rob, if I can interject, I know that Jeff mentioned the financial imperatives to a lot of editors and publishers, but perhaps maybe you'd also jump in and say something about the quality of the creative work that that might also be interesting to some of the audience.
Yeah, the quality has been very good, I have to say, and not just the quality, but also the speed. When you're in a daily environment, it is not easy to get things done graphically. And we can send something to Designer Pro, and they can have it done within 20, 30 minutes. And it'll be exactly what you're looking for, whether it's a graphic that's popping off the page, or a silhouette of a model or somebody, wrapping the text around it, and it comes out pretty clean.
Howard, how big is your team?
We have about 105 full-time designers,
okay,
and about a layer of 7 project managers above them who coordinate the designers and interact with the different publishing groups. And then, of course, we have the executives, myself and Michael Kurov, who tend to mind the flock in addition to that.
Okay, that's great. And you do everything from do you do business cards? Do you do logo design? Those things?
We do everything graphic that any publication needs. We do editorial pages, we do print ads, web ads, we do marketing, promotional, and media kit materials, collateral materials of all kinds, even event banners, anything that anyone would ever need graphically. And typically that's all included in our service. There's never any extra charge for additional materials. Stock photography is also included. Unlimited cloud storage of your files is included. But as we go on, we can discuss many of the other features. I think we have a lot of people on the on the runway waiting to take off, so maybe we'll let them speak.
Absolutely. Dozier, you're next.
Yes. Well, I've been with Design2 Pro for many years. I'm sorry, Howard, I don't recall when we first met. It was
I think it's like 10 years ago or something like
10
that.
years. I concur about the speed and the quality. It's just astounding that we can, when we need something turned over, we can send it and have, you know, have changes if necessary, and the speed and what, in my mind, I've never visited the shop, but I'm not, in fact, Howard, I'm not even sure where it is, but I'm not sure I could visit it. but I envision it as being, you know, a room full of nerds with computers, and we are very happy with what comes back.
Would you say, Dozier, that your staff is happy working with our people, and that the customer service is what they expect?
Yes, they are on a first name basis with, you know, with meaning they communicate so regularly with them. They, you know, they're speaking of them by first name in the different departments that we deal with, and it's reassuring to know that my guys, you know, not only feel comfortable, but have that communication line always freely open with them. And I know that the option, which we've never taken advantage of, but we've been tempted, the option to try things in different languages is there. There's just so many options that we don't even have a chance to take advantage of that I know they have. So we've fallen into kind of I hope we're an easy customer, because we've fallen into a lot of the same, you know, the same patterns for the stuff we do day in and day out. And we're very happy with it.
Okay.
All right, let's move on here. Larry.
Yes, sir. Hi. It's very, very interesting, very enlightening. A little background. I think I started publishing the Five Towns Jewish Times in the year 2000, and starting in about 2004, early 2005, a guy with a heavy Russian accent named Michael Kurv started calling me about doing my graphics. And, you know, up at that point, I figured I have to have the graphic artist in front of me and under me. Otherwise, we're not going to have a newspaper at the end of the week. And I have to be able to look over his shoulder. And we met off and on for about a year. And Michael said it didn't have to be that way. He was living in Brooklyn at the time. And about 2006, we overcame the last obstacle. I said to him, listen, I can see with my eyes my graphic artist every day. I mean, I go on my computer in the morning. How am I going to know you're going to be there? What if you disappear on me? What am I going to do? Where am I going to turn to? And he assured me that he will be there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it is, 18 years, 17 years later, and he's there all the time. And anytime you text Michael, or in this case Howard, you get an immediate response. And I think we started publishing and have arrived at this day at a very key transitional point in the technology associated with printing newspapers. But I think that Michael and his team, I don't know if anyone mentioned it, but I mean, the graphic artists aren't in a boiler room in Brooklyn somewhere. The graphic artists are all over the world. Right, Howard? And you guys never met, I would say you never met any of them. As far as I know, there is no office to visit. You know, since I know Michael in 2004, I know he's lived in Atlanta, in California, and Hawaii, and he was talking to me about going to Mexico to live. And it doesn't make a difference as long as he's always online and getting the pages done, which they do in a very efficient, as some of the people have said, and expert way. I understand. We have a unique market, and in the Jewish market, we serve the Orthodox Jewish community, which shuts down all electronic communication, instruments from sundown on Friday to Saturday night. So we have a unique niche market. We don't have to compete with the internet or with WhatsApp or with cell service or internet or podcasts and so on and so forth for that 25-hour period. And I read that there's about 3 newspapers a week closing down in the United States, but somehow our printer keeps raising prices. So, I just dealt with this a couple of days ago. I don't know if I should mention who we're dealing with. Maybe you're dealing with them too. I don't know. But I said to the guy yesterday, I had the conversation with my rep at the company. I said, listen, this is the 3rd time this year you want to raise. And all I read about is newspapers closing down every place. And, you could genuinely have additional. I can't pass on that kind of increases to my advertisers, but they don't want to hear about it. There's a chain of command, and the guy that's my rep never meets the guy on top. So there's no one to argue with. There's no one to negotiate with. They want a 5% increase now after a 7% increase about 6 months ago. So I'm looking for a new printer. If anybody out there has printing presses and is interested.
By the way, I think this is a good moment to interject and to ask everyone on the panel. Have you ever seen any kind of a regular, ongoing, or substantial price increase from us?
No, I would say that when I joined Design to Pro, my graphic design price dropped 90%. I don't know if I'm allowed to release that information, Howard, but back when the paper was much smaller, from 2005 to 2000, from 2000 to 2006, when it was 48 pages or 64 pages. So,
what's your largest issue now?
Our largest, which we basically average about 120, and we've done as much as 168, 172 around the holiday time. But in the olden days, prior to 2006, it was $100 a page to design. They did you a favor if you had a full page ad, which fortunately we had a lot of. They didn't charge you for that page, but it was thousands of dollars. Now with Michael, I mean, it's inconsequential. It's like it's they haven't raised us in 17 years, I don't think. And what can I tell you? It's $10 a page. That must be a lot of money in Ukraine.
Larry, what's your percent to editorial ratio?
I don't know how it's calculated. I haven't calculated it. Our market respects business. I don't mean to stereotype anybody, but there's no such thing in the markets we serve as having too much ads and not enough editorial. All people conclude when they see too much editorials that business is no good, and they want to know if I'm okay. A lot of people don't even read the newspaper; they just pick it up and weigh it. And if it's if July I go down to 92 pages or 100 pages, the most asked question is not about an editorial. The most asked question is, "Are you okay? Is everything all right?" So that's the market I'm dealing with. But what was the question about the ratio?
I just want to know what your editorial ratio was.
I think it's 70. I think it's 70-30.
Very good.
We have this week's paper, for example. You go online at 5tjt.com. I think and this is a low season right now. I think in the first 30 pages, you'll see probably 20 full page ads. And another issue that we have to deal with in my market, which I think might be unique to my market, because I've seen other papers and I don't see the same thing, is that I have like 100 advertisers that all want to be in the first 10 pages of the paper. So that's something else you got to deal with on a weekly basis, especially around holiday time. And they want to be on the right side before page 10.
But,
So,
by
hey,
the
you
way,
ever, go ahead, Howard.
I just wanted to clarify something that Larry said about where we're located. About on February 24th, 2022, when Vladimir Putin launched the war against Design2Pro, Ukraine just happened to be in the way. We had about 75% of our designers in Ukraine. And so it was a real signal moment for us, because we're very worried as to what we were going to do and how we were going to be able to do it. I'm proud to report that we relocated about 75% of our Ukrainian staff into places like Poland, Romania, Moldova, and the such. And we undertook a massive relocation effort on trains, buses, mule team, whatever it took to get people out of harm's way. And then we have about 25% of our Ukrainian staff in Lviv, which is in the far west of Ukraine, near the Polish border, out of the war zone. We do have actually a bullpen in Lviv for our Ukrainian staff to use. And on any given day, there might be anywhere from 10 to 25 people using it. And it is a room full of computer geeks. There's no question about it. The thing, the other 25% of our staff are in other Eastern European countries primarily. And what I will say is that the thing we're most proud of is that during those first 2 weeks of the war, we never ever missed a deadline for anybody at any time, for any reason whatsoever. Our people were using their cell phones as hotspots, and they're on the bus or the train, and they have their laptop on their knee, and they're doing the work. They relocated to a hotel, say in Poland, or a Airbnb in Romania. The first thing they do is unplug their laptop, and they're working, even if it's the middle of the night for them, but daytime here in the United States. So we're very, very pleased that we did not miss any deadline for anybody through all of that. And the most important thing is that none of our people, and we're very gratified about this, none of our people have been hurt or injured in the war, which is the most important thing, really. And that when you do work with us, you are helping to support a lot of dislocated and refugee Ukrainian families who really do need the livelihood. But we have very, very dedicated staff, and even in the face of all kinds of chaos, they met deadlines. And that's something that we're just very, very gratified about.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Jeff, I'll turn it back to you again.
No problem. That's a great story there, Howard. So that's terrific. So please don't forget, put your questions in the chat if you have any, and let's move on to Alan now.
Hello, everybody. So before I started working with D2P and before I launched my first publication, I actually worked at Gatehouse Media for a few years running marketing. And one of the things I saw there was that they relied heavily on a design center in Austin, Texas to service many of their 600 publications. And every day, every week, every month, they were moving more of the design to that central location. So when I launched my publication, I didn't think a one monthly type of company was going to really be able to find a source like that myself until I had some scale. So I just hired designers that I used to work with at national magazines, and my costs were very high. And then I switched after about 2 years of our first publication to D2P, and like the other panelists have said, it cut my costs probably by 70%. It did not impact the quality at all. In fact, if anything, I think the quality improved, and certainly the speed of getting pages done, of getting ads done, was dramatically better than relying on local designers for myself. And when we launched our second publication, it was very similar to our first. So the transition was very easy. It was basically just more pages in a similar template. But about 6 months ago, we launched a glossy magazine, and we spoke to Michael and Howard about D2P, working on that publication as well. And I have to admit, myself and our editor, we were a little concerned about what the quality was going to be like, or, you know, it was a much higher, more of a luxury feel publication. And from day one, they were able to completely pivot to a different type of publication. And, you know, we haven't had any issue that's been working with team, and that's with a whole new edit staff on our side who had never experienced working with an outsourced design firm either. So kudos to you guys.
I will say that we have 3 different teams at Design2Pro. We have a magazine team that just focuses on glossy publications. We have a newspaper team, which deals with newsprint publications. And then we have an ad team. We have something called the ad portal, where most ads, if they're submitted before lunchtime, will be done the same day. Ads and ad copy, attachments, etc., can be uploaded 24/7, 365 from anywhere, any web-enabled device. We tend to specialize in speed on that, because often the ad is out on spec and you may not have a commitment or a contract, and you want to get that nailed down. And so you don't want to have the advertiser waiting for days to see a proof. That's never a good thing. So we have a dedicated staff that just works on ads, and their graphic specialty are ads. And every publication also gets a project manager and the same designers on every issue, so that you'll always have continuity and consistency with each edition that you publish. It doesn't bounce around a bullpen. So that too is important. But we can handle glossies, high-end glossies, and tabloids, broadsheet newspapers, and of course ads. And by the way, we can also do web ads at the same time as your print ads, and so you can present an integrated campaign to an advertiser, which is often very helpful. Also included in our service is we can upload your editorial content to your website. So if you're paying someone to do that, you can chalk that off your cost. And we can also make your ebook and a flip book, whatever, and upload that to your website as well. So that also is another feature that folks get with working with us. That's included. Jeff, back to you.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Alan, do you have anything else to add at this point?
You know, just quickly, I will say about a year and a half ago, we also launched a division of our company that produces concerts and festivals in Westchester County in New York, and working with Daria, who's our project manager at D2P. She has been involved in helping us with everything from logo designs for festival T-shirts to coming up with proposal designs to present to potential sponsors. So it really is a full service company, and every time we get something new, we're sort of shocked about how they can come up with something completely different. We have 20 real estate advertisers in an issue, and none of their ads look the same, which is, great. They all have they each get their unique look and feel, which is really important.
Terrific. All right, Mr. Sturman, last but not least.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me. I just want to do a little bit of, everything that everybody has said here is 100% true. Let me start by that. But I have a little story. I met Howard about 5 years ago. He came to my office and showed my staff what they do and went through. And I had a sole purpose of having Howard come to the office, and that was to save money. I had 2.5 graphic artists. I had 2 graphic artists and I had a pagination system doing the pages, and I had a half doing ads full time, all the time. And I said, this is a lot of money, and there are days of the week that we all see that there's not much to do. And I said, there's got to be a better way. So I called Howard. Howard came. I was sold, but my staff revolted. They said, you can't do it that way. It's we need feedback right away. And they went on and on. And I said, I'm not going to make any moves. About, I guess what is it, 1.5 years ago, Howard?
Yeah.
Yeah, 1.5 years ago, I lost 1 graphic artist to Florida, and I had trouble replacing him. The half I had gotten rid of because we weren't doing that much ad production anymore. Most of our ads are coming in ready-made from agencies. So I said, oh my God, I only have 1 graphic artist, and he was struggling through it, and we were getting through it, but he was driving us crazy. And one day he walked in and he said, I'm retiring. I said, okay, when do you plan on doing this? He says, Friday. The beginning of the week. I almost fell on the ground. Okay. I said, now what am I going to do? So I immediately called Howard again. I said, Howard, this time I need you. And I am definitely going forward with this. And I don't have many old staff left over. So we're going to give this a try. He picked up the ball. And I couldn't even get into the guy's computer that retired. We couldn't even get into, he had a password on there. So we had all kinds of problems. Howard stepped in, recreated our template that same week, did the template. We got the paper out on time. And it was totally, we had a couple of hiccups, but that first issue. But that was only because of the lack of information we were able to give Howard. The next week, it was like a piece of cake. And as the staff that I did have left over that were complaining about this, they said, this is the smartest thing you ever did. And all of a sudden, they liked it. And I have to remark the speed that we get our papers back. My printer, who shall remain nameless also, he complains that we're sending our files too early.
Wow.
And it's amazing. No stress. No, I can't do that, which we used to get a lot from our staff. That can't be done. I can't pick up that photo from that document. Everything is done. It's done quickly. It's done just about perfectly. And it turns out they were right. This was the smartest thing I ever did. And I couldn't imagine putting out a newspaper anymore without having a company like Howard's. So it's been all good and never, ever a problem or a delay.
That's great.
I will
Howard,
say that with staff making a transition to something to outsourcing or subcontracting, the best way to present it to them is just that we're going to do remote work. Half of you are working half the week remotely, or maybe you're working the whole week remotely. And this is just other people that we're bringing on to help get the publication out. And they're also working remotely. So I think that if folks frame it that way to their staff, yes, it's remote work, but yes, just as with your other colleagues, you can get on a Zoom, you can get on the phone, you can get on email or text or whatever, and collaborate remotely. And it really doesn't matter where the designer is remotely. It's the same as remote work anywhere. The person can be remote down the street, across the country, or across the world. And it doesn't matter if we're on the other side of the world, because our North American operation works on U.S. hours, on U.S. time. So remote work is the best way to describe it. And if you're going to work remotely, why not pay less for it? Is really the best way to look at that.
I will add one other thing, Howard. I'd love for you to start another company for Salesforce, and possibly even editorial too.
Well, that's because, we don't work enough hours right now.
Yeah.
That would, right.
Part-time company.
Yeah.
Right.
Have any of you been able to move deadlines in the news department's favor? Speaking to what Howard just said about pages getting to the printer too early. So because you have saved time, have you been able to give, particularly the dailies, have you been able to give more time back to the news department for late breaking stuff or things along those lines? Anyone been able to do that?
I can answer you in a different way. Today, we got a legal notice that had to be in this week. We go to press around 2 o'clock on Thursdays. I got it probably around noontime. Papers were all done. They were sitting there waiting to be printed. The legal notice was a very important client of ours, school system. And I said to my assistant there, I said, send it over, see what they can do. I said, if we can't get it in, we'll just have to, make it up to them somehow. And she called me back 10 minutes later. It's in. So yes, the answer is you can extend the deadlines because the speed of the work.
Yep, that's terrific.
I will say, in my personal experience, just managing the daily, it's nice because it almost gives you discipline doing a daily, because okay, this is your cutoff. It is 7 o'clock. You've got to get everything done. Here it is. And so the aim is to just get everything done just a little bit ahead of time, so you have just enough time on your hands to make any last minute changes, like Howard said. And you'd be surprised how often some late break, and then you got to all of a sudden you got to tear up the front page. That's exactly what happened yesterday with us. We had a front page was ready to go, 5 o'clock. 5:01, Daniel Penny gets indicted for the Jordan Neely case. Okay, off comes the front page. We got to redesign and reboot. We did it. We scrambled quickly. We worked with Design Pro to get the pages finalized, and it was perfect. We didn't miss our deadline. I can't remember the last time we really missed the deadline dramatically on the AM side. It virtually doesn't happen anymore. So I think a lot of that goes to the fact that we have Design Pro and the ability to balance everything out and get things done quickly.
I will tell you that when you have, let's say, election coverage, or a lot of publications that we do, say in the Southeast and the Midwest, have Friday Night Lights. They have a lot of high school football and high school basketball and things like that. A lot of these sports results aren't available until 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. We're holding pages for election coverage or for sports coverage, and getting the paper to press at midnight or 1 in the morning, and turning pages around in 20 minutes if necessary. So if there's something special going on, we're going to be with you until the paper is finished, and until you sign off on it, it goes to press. We're not charging by the hour, and we're not watching the clock except to meet your deadline. I also want to emphasize that aside from cost savings, we have a lot of very creative people on staff who really like to stretch their artistic muscles, if you will. And we can do really beautiful pages of, it was alluded to before, silhouettes, pop outs, knockouts, text wraps, screens, layers, you name it, photo montages, you name it, we can do it. So if you can imagine it, you can tell us about it, and especially important for section covers, special issues, things like that. We can handle just about anything creatively. And we do have on our website, design2pro.com, we have a portfolio tab, and you can see a lot of the work that we do for a lot of folks around the country. And some of the people on this panel, their work, their publications are up there as well. And so you can actually see that each publication looks completely different because we follow the publisher's and the editor's visions. We are not running standardized templates or a cookie cutter situation. We follow your direction and your vision of how you'd like your publication to look, and we can, of course, replicate your existing design completely. Howard Sturman mentioned that we can completely duplicate what you're doing now. But another great feature is if you want a redesign, you don't have to pay a very fancy, high-priced consultant tens of thousands of dollars. We'll redesign your publication for free as part of the service. And it may take a month or two because you're going to have a lot of drafts going back and forth till you hit the look that you want. But we'll do that redesign as part of your service with us. And we say to some folks, if you haven't changed your design since, say, 1989, maybe it's time to explore that, because fresh look often can get some new notice from the community and from advertisers. So we can certainly do that, and there's no extra charge for that at all. I will tell you also that we do the 310 newspapers and magazines we do each week. I would say that probably a full third of them are in New York. So we're very involved, and probably the person that the certain person sitting next to you at a New York Press Association event is probably having their pages or their ads or both done with us. So New York and Design2Pro sort of go together, and we have very good relationships with all the printers in New York, and they're used to working with us for many years. And one of the good things also is that printers like the fact that they get files from us, because the files are good and ready to go from the first moment. Sometimes they complain. Sometimes a lot of publications, when you have in-house staff, they get corrupted files, they get incomplete files, they get things where the settings are not right, the photos are not right. With Design2Pro, the stuff hits the printer right the first time, and it saves time for the printer, so that they're very very happy about that. That's one less thing to worry about. And again, if there is a problem, the printer can talk to us at midnight or 1 in the morning and not have to wake you up, and we'll get them the corrected file or whatever. So that's one less thing for you to have to deal with.
Howard, I got a couple questions here. One of them was emailed to me, and the other one's in the chat. But the one that was emailed to me, you just basically answered, and that was, do you redesign entire papers? If someone wants a redesign, so.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, we like to play with crayons. Yeah.
Yep, that's good. That's good. The second question is from Ray. And the question is, have all of the publishers entirely outsourced their design teams, or do they also maintain a staff artist or two?
I would say I'd let each one answer in turn, but 90% or 95% of our customers have given us the entire job from soup to nuts, because we become their design department, and because you always have permanently assigned designers and project managers, they are in effect working for you, but they're only working for you on the days that you need them. They're not. You don't have to pay them for the whole week, which is the key where you're getting the savings. Some of our customers, Rob probably can speak to this, are of a size where they need to have some staff on hand to coordinate the flow with us and to handle any last minute things and any overage. But I'll let Rob talk.
That's exactly it, Howard. I mean, our company has now grown to such a size that we do have a number of art designers on our team who help coordinate the flow of work that we're getting from Design to Pro, as well as just everything else in general. And there are times in which there's like super last minute changes, or there's a really finicky client who's like, I need to see it this way, and there's nothing to do. But I think a lot of it just comes down to the volume. And for us, in our experience, it helps to have a number of people in this office, and then working with Design to Pro on the side. Others, it's a different story. They can do everything.
I got completely. I disbanded whatever was left of my design team. I didn't try to reestablish it, but I did do something that I do recommend. I have 5 newspapers, so I'm not as large as Schneps or but I have somebody else as a part-time of their work. They're a full-time employee. They shepherd the flow of information. They make sure that editorial gets their information into Design to Pro, and the ads. They check the ads to make correct. So I don't have a total elimination of the graphics department in that way, but I can tell you that I'm going to say 8 hours during the whole week that this person spends on making sure that everything comes in a timely fashion, particularly the ads. It's worth the few dollars that it cost me. And on top of that, knowing that you're going to get production right way the first time.
All right. I don't see any more questions. Howard, would you like to add anything else here? I mean, I will mention one thing that stood out to me, very simple, was 24/7. So, Larry said he used to watch over his design person, but I'm sure that wasn't 24/7. So, we are in the business of 24/7. We know that, and that's always nice to know that you have a partner there that obviously is on the same page as you. No pun intended, actually. So, Howard, anything, sir?
I will tell you, this is our 19th year, and you can't be in business 19 years and handle more than 310 publications a week if you're not meeting deadlines. More importantly, meeting budget and meeting people's expectations. We try very hard to not just meet your expectations, but to exceed them. And the biggest thing that we try to bring to our customers is peace of mind. We're, in regards to the 24/7, we're very, very reachable. I don't think there's a time when Michael and I turn off our phones. People can reach us at all kinds of days and nights and things like that. And we have other of our project managers always on call. So, we're a phone call away, and our business, and I'm sure that most of you can attest to this. We don't ask for folks to sign a contract. We do business on a handshake basis, and we have to earn your business every issue, every week, every day. We have to earn your business. And so if you're not satisfied, we're not going to keep our customers. And so this is an onus on us to work hard and to meet and exceed your expectations. But I will tell you that we very much appreciate the business, and we don't take our customers for granted. I think everyone knows that. And if you're a good enough customer with us, at Christmas we'll get chocolates. So,
yes.
Ooh. Gotta add me to that list, Howard. So,
All right.
everyone,
Okay,
thank
great.
you so much.
Thank you.
To our guests, our panel. We are going to have some additional seminars from time to time from the New York Press Service, so keep your eyes open for those. And have a great evening, everyone.
Thank
Thanks a
you.
lot.
Thank you.
everybody.